So many people have been excited about the new Halo TV series because it's such a good universe. There are so many great characters to show off and stories to tell, but there's been a lot to worry about with this series since we know multiple showrunners left the project and they decided to race swap characters. And since it launches in a month, they released the full trailer and people are not very happy with what they've seen so far. I have a few things to show off and talk about, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month or supporting the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So, I wanted to start off with this article from Screen Rant. It says, why the Halo TV series is already so controversial. I think that people are looking at the show and they want to give it a chance, but the more we hear about it and the more we see of it, the less impressed we are. I myself am a giant Halo fan. I love Halo. It's one of my favorite game franchises of all time, and I was initially pretty excited about this TV show. I was hoping it was going to be really good. They were going to stick to the source material, but the more I've seen of it, the less impressed I've been. It says, though, Showtime's Halo TV series has finally gotten underway after being in development at the network for several years, but in addition to starting production, it has already drawn significant backlash and spawned controversy. Longtime fans of the Halo video game series, created by Bungie and now helmed by 343 Industries, have been waiting for new details on the TV series since it was announced back in 2013. And this, as you can see, is an article from 2019. And I want to start with this one because it brings up why it was controversial, some of the information we know now from the new trailer, and I have a few other things to show off. But, of course, we do know that it is no longer on Showtime. It is now on Paramount+. So, of course, the article says when the first details released, including cast members, characters included, and story reveals, had been well received, things had taken a turn for the worse when they had announced they were race-swapping characters and ignoring the franchise's lore. This is the worst thing that you can possibly do, is ignore source material and change around the lore. And, of course, people were not happy to hear that they were race-swapping characters, especially main key characters in Halo's story. It says right off the bat, many Halo fans were irked when it was revealed that Captain Jacob Keyes, an iconic character in the Halo franchise who played a prominent role in the first game, was race swapped, in the same with his daughter, Dr. Miranda Keyes, who you saw through multiple games. Both characters were Caucasian in the video game series, so casting Sapani and Gray as Jacob and Miranda respectively seemed unnecessary. Some people on social media have called it a slap in the face to the franchise fans who've waited years to see this story adapted into live action. I, again, was really excited when I heard that they were doing this series. I was hoping it was going to be good, it was going to be accurate, but unfortunately, it hasn't been. In my opinion, yes, it is a slap in the face to fans when you decide to race swap characters. You should want to stay as close to the source material as possible, and you should want to get the most accurate casting possible. And these might be amazing and great actors, don't get me wrong, they might be fantastic, but I personally think that they should have been placed in other roles as other characters, maybe new characters. I think that creating new characters is fine as long as you're not doing it for like 90% of the main characters. Unfortunately, though, that's not the direction they decided to take it in, and they've been scrutinized for it. And story-wise, they're also making some drastic changes because Murphy's casting as Mckee is strange. According to the original press release, Mckee is an orphan who was taken in and raised by the Covenant, and she had grown to share their contempt for humanity. While the inclusion of the Keyes family is at least taken directly from the games, having a human raised by the Covenant, arguably in a similar fashion to Tarzan, has very much annoyed fans since it's a major departure from the source material. It's like the people that were behind this series wanted to get the name Halo, get some of the characters' names, and just write a whole new story and change around as much as they possibly could. And of course, they decided to show off Cortana finally. It's like they waited till the last minute to show off Cortana because the show does release in a month, and now people are furious over Cortana's design. It says video game adaptations get a bad rep, but not without reason. Rarely does the magic of the game translate to live action. Just look at the various Resident Evil films. Surprisingly, based on the new trailer, Paramount Plus's live action Halo adaptation looks promising, but fans are feeling blue about the design of one character in particular. One of the most important characters in Halo, may I add. She's not just like a random character that might help in one season. She is a main character in this franchise. It says released yesterday, the trailer below reveals that visually at least, 2022's Halo is looking pretty faithful to its source material. Of course, these are game journalists for you who will defend any companies they can. No, this doesn't look close and faithful to source material. It's like this person has never played Halo. But judging by the reaction online, gamers aren't happy that Cortana, Master Chief's AI companion, isn't blue. And I wanted to bring up my tweet on the situation because Fandom Gaming had tweeted out, first look at Cortana in the live-action Halo series. And this is actually the voice actress who played Cortana in most of the video games, which I personally think is amazing. I think it's badass that they got the voice actress in the games. She sounds super good. It's really, really cool. Lots of nostalgia there, but I feel like if they had simply added a blue filter over her, it would look 100 times better because we're not used to seeing a human like Cortana, and obviously she's got human features, but we're not used to seeing the human colored skin and hair and outfit. We're used to seeing that bluish purple filter over her, and I feel like if they did that one simple change, she would look 100 times better, and a lot of people also agree. Is it so hard for directors or writers to just put Cortana as a transparent blue hologram? This looks awful and weird. Let's hope they fix it. I feel like it does look pretty awkward. I mean, we're not used to seeing Cortana this way. I feel like it's just really, really bizarre that this is what they decided to go for her design. People are saying things like, is she animated? Well, okay, on the left, that's at least how she looked in the games. Her design isn't bad, but the lack of blue makes her look like a generic average person who has a minor blue outline. I agree. I don't think that the overall design looks terrible. Yeah, the hair looks a little weird. The way that she's smiling is a little weird. But overall, I don't think that it's terrible. I just think that they needed to change a couple of minor things like the coloring here, and it would look so much better. But we've known that this project was most likely going to be a disaster, that this wasn't going to be great. Like I mentioned, they weren't following source material, they're race swapping characters, and we also had found out back in 2021, June 2021, that the Halo live-action series parts ways with both of its showrunners. Now, if the people who started a project leave, it doesn't bode well. It looks like they didn't want to deal with a disaster, and it doesn't look that promising. Sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that the original showrunner Kyle Killen quietly departed Halo in late 2019 after he asked them to hire a second showrunner to oversee the production in Budapest so that he could focus on stateside efforts, including scripts and editing, and Kane was hired in March 2019 and has been on the ground overseeing filming in Budapest for the past few years, and he exited after it wrapped production. So if they do a season 2, he will not be a part of it. That means they will not have either of the original showrunners on this project. Those showrunner exits are the latest behind-the-scenes drama that has plagued Halo since plans for the show were first unveiled in 2014. This show has been in the works for years, and they never released it. They could never finish it. They just delayed it and delayed it and delayed it, and yeah, it's finally coming out, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be good. In making the June 2018 announcement, Showtime's David Nevins called Halo the Cabler's most ambitious series ever, and by December of that same year, Otto Bathurst had taken over directing duties 2 months after Wyatt departed, and the show's 10-episode order shrank to 9. So yes, we've seen Showrunners leave, directors leave, we have seen actors quit. Overall, this project seems like it has gone through a lot of problems, and I hope that it comes out, and I hope that it's amazing. I do also hope, though, that they do make minor changes, like to Cortana's look. Ultimately, I feel like they're not following source material, so it's going to be very hit or very miss, but only time will tell. I will definitely be watching it when it releases, but that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.